Hey Denise.
Yes.
Are you ready to shoot an episode of Can We Talk?
Yes, I am. Hey, this is Denise Sutton of Can We Talk Television, and welcome. Today I have a very special guest with me, DJ AlwayzChillin, all the way from the Boogie Down Bronx. Welcome, DJ AlwayzChillin. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute.
Hey, I'm here now.
So how's life treating you in North Carolina?
It's pretty good. Very good, actually. You know, nice, calm, relaxed. Wouldn't have picked a better spot.
You left the Boogie Down when? What year?
I left the Bronx in 2001. Actually, yeah, I left the Bronx in 2001 and came to Brooklyn. And then from Brooklyn, got married in 2003. Then we left from Brooklyn to Charlotte in 2007.
So you've been in Charlotte since 2007. Do you miss New York?
Yeah.
Okay.
Certain things. There are certain things that I do miss in New York. Definitely the food. The food, you know, down here, very, very fast food oriented.
Now let's shift a little bit because, you know, you're a DJ. You've been DJing since what, 12 years old? I know we had a conversation not too long ago about that.
Yeah. I've been DJing since I've started DJing at like 12. But you know how it is having a relative in the house, being a DJ as well. You know, I was fortunate enough to have the skeleton key to their room when they weren't home. So I would sneak in and, you know, get my little practice here and there and, you know, just learn, you know, watch them doing their thing and watch other people, you know, doing their thing, and happen to be lucky enough to have a mentor along the way. Rest in peace to my man, DJ AlwayzKid, you know, who showed me a lot, actually helped me create my first beat ever. And also want to give a shout out to my man, MOL from Trends of Culture, and my man DJ Dice. So you know, a couple of people out here. Been doing that since 12 years old, and then, you know, when I finally got officially into it and was able to do my own thing, I was 18, and then from there, been going ever since.
So how has the transition been for you from going from New York, you know, Bronx, maybe Manhattan, Brooklyn, DJing, and now you're in another state, altogether different? It's a slower pace. The atmosphere is different. How have you been keeping up your skills? How has that been for you?
Well, you know, always keep up the skills. You know, you got to stay on top of things. You got to stay current. You know, always keeping up with that. As far as the transition goes, you know, it was a little different in the beginning because of, you know, Charlotte, of course, is a slower pace than New York. So, you know, they listen to a lot of the same music, but not really at that pace. Okay. You know, so you kind of have to switch up in between, like, because, you know, I'm in the South now. So the South, you know, really has taken off with the trap. So you have to adjust, or I had to adjust from the New York style, you know, as far as the moving and shaking, to the trap music, moving and shaking. So, you know, it was a small adjustment, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't really like, you know, a big deal because, you know, being a DJ, you have to be able to cater to everyone. You know, you can't just be one-sided, you know, as far as what you like to hear or what you want to play. You know, you got to be able to play for everybody. So, basically I pay attention to my crowd and, just, keep it moving and keep it shaking.
So let's switch gears again. We're in the outskirts supposedly of the pandemic, and a lot of people have been dealing with a lot of stuff. Living in New York still, there's been a lot of incidences with things going on with the police, people, there's all kinds of crime going on. It's gone up like 100%. The mentally ill, and then we got police reform here in New York where, they're letting out quote unquote low criminals out into the streets, and then the gang violence has gone up, and there's been brutality against the cops, against the elderly. And I know North Carolina probably has a different situation as far as their crime rate. Is that one of the reasons why you left New York, because of the crime?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons of leaving New York. Things I felt, being that I grew up in New York and, living that fast pace, for me, it was time to give it a rest.
Yeah.
I felt that, I've done everything that I wanted to do in New York as far as, sports wise, playing basketball in the parks and stuff, and being able to travel throughout the city.
Yeah.
And now, coming into adulthood,
Yeah.
doing the club scenes and everything just kind of got boring. It was time to, really just say, you know what, I'm done. Like I felt like I've officially used New York to the best of my ability. It's given me what I needed to move on to the next spot.
Right. Especially becoming a husband and then having a child, and then you want a different environment for raising your son. And then, boom, COVID hits, and then lives are all discombobulated. Things have changed tremendously. What is that one thing that has kept you through this pandemic?
Faith. One thing has kept me through it is faith. Faith and really just following the rules. It's easy. People say, I don't like doing this. You can't tell me what to do and all of that stuff. But, if it pertains to saving your life and the ones that you love, just follow the rules. I mean, you wear a mask, you social distance,
Yeah.
and you keep it moving, you keep it pushing. Some people feel like they're being restricted and held back, but when you look at it, or I should say when I look at it, the rules are there to help me and to help my family be safe. So why not?
Right.
Like I've done all the hell raising and rebel yelling, like it's like, listen, I have a child now. I have someone who depends on me, so I need to do my job and protect them the best way that I can. And if it means wearing a mask and, social distancing from people, then I got to do it.
Right.
Because I want to be around and I want them to be around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I understand you've had a health challenge.
Yeah. Back in 2017,
Wow.
I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma cancer. That is a blood bone type cancer, right? And what it is where your bone marrow makes too many protein cells, right? And then those cells get into your bloodstream, of course, but too many of them can damage your organs. So basically, my body was creating these proteins too much. So plus I also found out as well that my family has a history of cancer.
And you didn't know that prior.
Right. I didn't really, I mean, I knew certain relatives had cancer, but I didn't put the two together. you know, I kind of just like, oh man, you know, sorry to hear that, uncle, sorry to hear that, auntie. And I never, you know, never realized the connection. So when it hit me, you know, I put everything together. It was a huge blow. You know, I actually sat in a daze for at least 15 minutes, you know, just like, wow, cancer. Like, you know, I don't want to die, you know what I mean? And then, you know, uh, my wife was with me, of course, when we got the news, and she was like, come on, snap out of it. And, you know, you have to come to reality, like, okay, this is what you have. Now, what are you going to do next? You know, so from there, we found, you know, we started treatment right off the bat. Like, you know, listen, I don't want this to progress any further than it has to. So started treatment right away.
What's right away? What was right away for you?
I found out in March of 2017, and my first treatment started in April, the next month.
Wow. Okay. And Stephanie, your wife, was there with you all the time. I know she's been a big help to you. She's been that wife, that helpmeet. She's been that wife right there for you. Tell me a little bit about how that played out and how y'all have grown closer because of this.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been my rock. Like without her, I don't think I would have survived it. To be frank and honest, like I needed her. I needed her push. You know, I needed her help, and she was there from the beginning right up until now. No hesitation. If I was too weak to do something, she was right there for me. You know, and her commitment to making sure that I beat this was so inspirational to me, because it was like, wow, I have someone here who cares enough about me to really sit here and help me go through this. You know, you always hear, you know, yo, man, if you need anything, man, just give me a holler, you know.
Yep.
And okay, but when, you know, you finally tell that news or you make that call, you really be surprised who picks up.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a hard lesson to learn, you know, because I really found out who my real and true friends are, you know, through this endeavor of mine. And my wife has been my solid rock. Like I said, I don't think I could have beaten this without her.
Right. And how did your son adjust?
It was difficult for him
Okay.
at first. You know, my son is very compassionate and sensitive, like I am. You know, we're sensitive guys. We have feelings, you know, and it was a lot for him to see me going through that, you know, having to go into the hospital and having to be away from home, you know, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks at a time, you know.
Yeah.
Me not being able to see him every day. I mean, you know, thank God for technology now. You know, I was able to talk to him every day, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but let's say like if this happened to me in the 90s when he was
when we used to use the beepers.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't just keep beeping him to be like, hey, you know, and him calling me back. Like, no, you know, that wouldn't work. You know, or even just the regular, you know, the house phone or land phone, that wouldn't work. You know, I needed to see him and he needed to see me. So thank God for technology for that. And that helped him, you know, by us video chatting through the procedure and everything, you know, and me reassuring him like, hey, dad is going to be just fine. Dad'll be home in a week. Dad'll be home in a couple of days, you know, daddy's coming home, you know. So it was a lot for him to go through, but, you know, since then, he's been really on top of this as well. You know, he makes sure, hey, you feeling okay? You take medicine, you know, do you need me to get your medicine? You know, anything I need, you know, pretty much he helps me. Like, I'll be like, you know, hey son, can you bring daddy his medicine? And he'll be like, what do you need? And I tell him what I need and he got it.
That's a blessing. See, that's what I'm talking about. He's a good son.
Yeah,
That's
he got
a blessing.
He has his moment.
So in the wake of COVID, and are you in remission?
Yes, I have been cancer free in remission since 2018.
All right.
So in a technical
To God be the glory.
yeah, amen. And in a technical medical world, I'm only 4 years old.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Because,
and even in the midst of COVID.
Yeah. Stay safe. Yeah, definitely doing what I have to do to stay safe. I'm not outside unless I need to be, and I get what I need to get as far as groceries or food or whatever.
Yes.
And I'm back in. I wear
right.
my mask. I'm not, I'm not loose or I keep my mask on. I keep my distance, and I do what I need to do to stay well. Right.
Right. And I wish more people did what they needed to do to stay well, Indeed. So as far as life is concerned, what advice would you give somebody else who's going through?
Stay faithful. Believe that whatever you're going through, you can overcome. Because once you are defeated emotionally, you become defeated physically. And what I mean by that is once you give up in your head, your body follows. You know what I'm saying? Like if you stop fighting in your head, your body stops fighting. So always do what you need to do to keep yourself in fight mode.
Got it.
Remind yourself you're still here. When you wake up, give a little thanks. Like, yeah, another day. If you're able to, make the best of that day.
Yes.
If not, it's understandable. But again, give thanks. Give thanks for waking up. A lot of us take advantage of it. But I learned now with my scare, I give thanks every morning.
Yeah.
Every morning I'm able to wake up my eyes. I look around. I say thank you. I kiss my wife every morning. I kiss my son every morning. Even though he's 13, I still give him his kiss. I kiss my boy. I make sure let him know, Daddy's still here. Daddy loves you.
That's right.
Just take it day by day. Don't overload yourself, but don't undercut yourself neither. Don't sell yourself short.
Okay. Don't overload yourself, but don't undercut yourself at the same time.
Right.
Wow.
At the same time.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that advice. That's great because, there's so many people going through, and if not that particular person, it might be a family member that's going through something like cancer or any other type of debilitating disease and or sickness. And, being Stephanie, your wife, being a caretaker for you and your son being there is a true blessing in itself because some people don't have anyone. So that's a blessing. And, for you doing what you're doing, I know you from years ago and you've worked in some certain situations, you worked in certain jobs, you've been a DJ. What is next for DJ AlwayzChillin? What's next?
Whatever life has to throw at me. I take everything one day at a time.
At a time.
I don't do things or put too much ahead of me, because it's day to day. I could feel good one moment and then I could have a situation to where things aren't right the next day.
Okay.
So that's why I say I give thanks every day because I tackle every day as it comes to me.
As it comes. All right.
I take it just as it is.
Ruka daar, onai la geen beleg, gaan op haar maat la geen mee. That's Hashem Yeshua.
Brilliant.
Yeshua. Yeah. Shalom Aleichem. Crazy Adam. Rukata Hashem Erona. Rukata Hashem Erona. Rukata Hashem Erona. Shalom Aleichem. Rukata Hashem Erona. First it was the word and the word was with God. John 1:1 for the Lord I spit bars. Bring the cross over for God, I'm Tim Hard. Since Adam and Eve in the garden they sinned hard. You trying to get the heaven off the tower of Nimrod? That's like trying to swipe the subway with a SIM card. Hakadosh Baruchi, I'm released, that's FR and 2 E's. He's a beast, he took scars in a 2-piece. Took the cross, rose from death, now who's he? For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. So now scream Yeshua, Haggadah. Urukata Adonai Elohim Elect. I'm speaking that Hebrew for God and you seem perplexed. Been transformed, reborn, redeemed from mess. Don't put your life in jeopardy like you seen Trebek. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. So now we scream Yeshua, Haggadah. That says Christ is the ruler, lion of Judah. 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 He was in beginning with God, that's John 2. God's promise to his anointed, that's Psalm 2. Who you think I'm talking about? Jesus of Nazareth. They rather see release of a thief, he's Barabbas. Peace on the Sabbath, cut from different fabric. Here to affect the world for change, he's a catalyst. Just take a look at the Old Testament prophecies. You see a lot of theophanies like Hazakim. In other words, who was the angel he wrestled with? And who was Moses talking to up in Exodus? Who was crushed, beaten, and battered limbs? Who was in the fire with Daniel's friends? Yeshua, lion and lamb, he slaughtered sin. The God who I never seen like Sandal Tim. Took a stand with no man wouldn't stand with him. That's why we all praise, raise hands to him. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. So now we scream Yeshua, Haggadah. That says Christ is the ruler, lion of Judah. 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 All things came into being, that's John 3. That's why we throw up trays like John 3. And I'm singing praises like John Key. Even when I'm all off pitch and off key. Hearts was dark and hard as the concrete. Broke as a waiver, I was beyond weak. A square in my school, I was beyond streets. Shemayim a goal, I'm a beyond streets. Glorified with a body like his. Come and look at my house, no MTV cribs. Just me and my rib and me and my kids. Lamping in the mansion, ain't seeing those bids. Hiding from God, ain't seeing those figs. Pulling you over, ain't seeing those pigs. Thugs on the corner that's twisting your wig. Just all day of worship with saints where I live. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. For our sins he was slain, so we had to die. So now we scream Yeshua, Haggadah. That says Christ is the ruler, lion of Judah. Christ is the ruler, lion of Judah. Christ is the ruler, lion of Judah. Christ is the ruler, lion of Judah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions,
Okay.
because without questions, you don't get an answer, whether it be correct or incorrect, but you have to ask the question,
Mm.
and make sure that, you teach, the phrase each one teach one
Yes.
is thrown around so loosely.
Yes.
But I take serious heed to that. So I try to explain or express to my son some of the things that I've been through as a young kid or young man his age. I tell him, yeah, dad was 13 too, and this is what dad experienced. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to experience the same thing, but I want you to be aware, be aware of your surroundings, know your history, because, to me, I feel that a lot of young kids in this generation now don't know their parents' generation or don't know their parents' upbringing,
Right.
It's like they're afraid to talk about it. No, listen, talk about it. They need that. That's how you were groomed, by learning your folks' history, You know, need that education. I feel like a lot of the youth of today have no information at all because nothing was ever said back to them. You know, but I make sure I do my best as a father to feed my son as much information about who he is, about who I am, and about, you know, the past. Because without a past, there's no future.
All right, you said a mouthful right there.
I've learned a lot. I learned a lot in my days growing up, you know. I mean, you was there for a good portion of it. You've seen it. So
you said a mouthful with that one, though. You learn, and you learn from your elders. You know, I thank God for my elders. I thank God for, you know, those that taught me when I was unteachable and who tried to drill it in my head when I didn't want to hear it. Now you older, now you're doing the same thing to the younger ones coming up. So it makes a big difference. You see the other side now. You see the other side.
Right. Now you're the parent. Right. Now I'm the parent. And it's like, you know, I find a lot of things that I'm saying to my son, like, you know, my mom said to me, and it was like, ugh, you know, but it makes sense. You know?
Yeah, you had that aha moment.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Dre. Well, I call you Dre, but DJ AlwayzChillin from the Boogie Down Bronx.
You know, indeed. That name is not going anywhere. It's not just a name, but it's a way of life. I'm always chilling.
All right, always chilling. Thank you for joining us on Can We Talk Television with DJ AlwayzChillin. Join us next time for another episode. God bless.
You remember when I was broke, huh? Looking for a coupon to cop a futon. Now we so fly, we can flow, huh? Rolling down the window, act for Grey Poupon. Man, who else could get it jumping like a rope, huh? When I first started, they ain't know what I was on. Yo, you probably thought the Zor was a joke, huh? Now when they see me, they say, Mr. Holy Smoke. These is God bars, these is pearly gates. I'ma hear well done like I order steaks. This is good money, mixed with good faith. I'm like TD Bank, mixed with TD Jakes. I know you tired of lames, I know you tired of fake.
Hey Denise.
Yes.
Are you ready to shoot an episode of Can We Talk?
Yes, I am.